Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome along to day 2 of Journalism Media Week 2024. Good morning. Good morning. Fine Vettel. Ooh, fine Vettel, fine Vettel. Hands up if you're going to be staying up all night watching the US election. It's a couple of people. I heard the best term for it, nauseously optimistic. Nauseously optimistic. We'll see. But look, it's our very first Screen Yorkshire Day here at Leeds Trinity University, and we've got a fantastic day planned for day 2 of Journalism Media Week. At 11 o'clock, of course, we're going to be moseying over to the running track for Rowley Special Effects, where they are going to, as I said yesterday, blow some shit up. And also writing workshop with Lisa Holdsworth is at 12. We'll have a bit of lunch. Then we're going to be talking visual effects with Ben Loudon, who's worked on things like House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones. So that's going to be really interesting. We've also got then how you distribute your film with Beatrice Newman. And then finishing up the day, fantastic BAFTA Award winner director, and that is Dermot Scrimshaw is going to be with us as well. Producer, thank you. And to start the day, we have, of course, the man behind Screen Yorkshire. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen, for Richard Knight!
I don't like a build-up like that. It sets you up for disappointment, which some of you maybe, because I think I've delivered some of this to some of you already, so apologies for that. But I'm just going to do a quick whistle-stop tour of Screen Yorkshire and the sort of screen industries at the moment. So to say, apologies if you've seen it before, but this is a quicker version because we've got about half an hour. And I want to, just at the end, I'll talk to you a little bit about the special effects demo before we actually go out there, okay? I hope that's okay. So for those who haven't met me before, I'm Richard Knight, and I work these days at Screen Yorkshire, but I started out in the screen industries way back in 1998. I managed to get the opportunity to work on a film. I never imagined film would be for me. I grew up on a farm. It was just not something that ever came up. It was nothing that ever got discussed at school. There was no media courses or anything like that. The closest we had at school was like art. And that was it really. So I managed to get this opportunity working as a runner on this film, then found out that there was a job called the location manager, which I'd never heard of before I started in film, where someone has to go out and find and organise locations. And I quite like geography at school and photography, and I thought if there's a job going that can combine those two things, then that could be for me. So I worked as a runner for a while on various different jobs, and then finally got into locations, assisted for a while, did quite a lot down in London because that's where most of the work was. I did a series of Silent Witness for the BBC, and then kind of got my break over 20 years ago now. I location managed a film called Dead Man's Shoes. That was my first location manager job. And then soon after that, a couple of years later, a film called This Is England, which won a BAFTA for Best British Film. That's where I met Dermot, who I'll be talking to later. All of This Is England's spin-off series, loads of stuff around Yorkshire. Then I became kind of one of the go-to location managers for Yorkshire. I've done a bit of producing as well, so produced a few shorts and other odds and ends, done loads of work on commercials. I also do a bit of writing now, so I've won a screenwriting competition a few years ago and got a short made, and then I had another short made which I wrote just in the summer that have just gone. So that's just finished its post-production and it's premiering on Monday in London, so I'm going down to London for that. So that's a bit about me. So Screen Yorkshire, for those who haven't heard of Screen Yorkshire, we support the screen industries in Yorkshire. We've been going over 20 years now. Started out as the kind of main regional screen agency for Yorkshire. It was good times. There was money around at the time. There was money to help people make films and develop talent. There was loads of other different things going on. In 2010, things shrunk down. We had a new government in. They decided to centralise all the support, the sort of industry support, and a new organisation called Creative England was formed. We're now called Creative UK. Around about that time, Screen Yorkshire had just got hold of a load of money, £15 million worth of money, which was the Yorkshire Content Fund. And we were able to use that money to invest in films, television programmes. We've invested in a few documentaries as well. So at the time that all the other regionals were disappearing, Screen Yorkshire carried on because we'd got the fund. So we just moved over to becoming a private company with just a handful of staff. And what we were doing was just investing in productions. Typically, we only invest around about 10% of the overall budget of a finished of a production, but a proviso of our investment is that you bring your production to Yorkshire. And the idea is that if we only put in 10%, if you've got a film that's got a 5 million budget, they've got their other 4.5 million is sourced by other sources, could be BFI, BBC Films, Film 4, private investment, advances from distributors, all sorts of different things. We put in 500,000 and we say, come to Yorkshire. And then the idea is that of that 5 million budget, they spend more than our 500,000 in Yorkshire. So typically, for every pound we put in, if we get £4 spent locally, that's really good for the region. It's great for the regional economy, with a very definition of levelling up, because we're dragging production out of other areas and bringing it to Yorkshire. So that's what we do. It's a commercial fund, though. We don't give money away. We are always looking for a return on our investment. So the number one thing, if anyone's getting in touch with us for funding, is what's the chances of us getting our money back, basically. So the original 15 million has long since gone. It was planned. It's not just been frittered away. It was planned to be gone by the end of 2015. What we now have in the fund is all the legacy money. It's all the money that's come back from our previous investments. We also run the Yorkshire Film Office, so we get a lot of productions come up to the region which don't need our money, like Netflix shows, all that. They don't need our money. They've already got plenty of money. But we still look after them. We still support them. We run a location library of over 1,000 locations. We've got a crew database of over 1,000 local crew. Facilities database, which has got all sorts on it, from where can we hire camera kit, lighting kit, where can we put our actors up in hotels, where can we hire vans, all sorts of different suppliers to the industry locally. We've got a kind of directory of that we look after. We've also got lots and lots of connections with local councils. And so if someone wants to close a road in Horsforth to do a sequence, they can talk to us and we can give them the contacts and help make that all happen, basically. So that's what the Film Office does. Loads of different support work. Also, as part of the Film Office, we also work a lot with local production companies, of which there are many across the region. And we do quite a lot of support work with them. We run different events with them, just meetups, chats, all that kind of stuff. So we also try to support local business that's in the screen industries as well. So in lockdown, for example, we helped get them some government support funding to keep them ticking over during lockdown. So we do that kind of thing as well. We're doing a little bit on screen tourism. This is a thing we've been looking at. It's kind of shelved at the moment because we're so busy doing other things. But if we at Screen Yorkshire are measured, our kind of measure of success is how much economic activity we bring into the region in the screen industries. There's a chunk of money that we would invest and get productions coming here where they actually come and film here, hiring local crew and all these different facilities, hotels, locations and all that. But then there's another big benefit, is that a lot of people across the world will watch films at the cinema or watch streamer services online, and they'll see these amazing locations and wonder where they were filmed. And then they will book a holiday to come and visit. And so Castle Howard is a great example, where they had Bridgerton, which was one of Netflix's biggest global releases. Their visitor numbers shoot up after Bridgerton is out because people see it and want to go there. So if they're bringing money into the region, that's also something. If we say, hey, we've supported it, even better if, hey, we invested in this, that's also a good thing for us to be kind of championing. We do loads of training and talent development. This is because when productions get in touch and say they're thinking of bringing a production to Yorkshire, they are interested in what local locations we've got often, because they're location shoots. They're interested in, obviously, accessing our fund potentially. They're interested in local infrastructure, but then the other big question we get is, what local crew have you got? There's a bit of a misconception, I think, amongst lay people that when you see a production happening that everyone's up from London or been flown in from the States or something. It's not true. They want to hire as many local people as possible because even the big budget stuff, the travel and accommodation bills are massive, and that's not money that's going on the screen. So the more they can hire locally, the better. So we have kind of recognised that a good, strong local crew base is a big factor. So we do work now to kind of help find and develop a good, strong crew base. We run some different craft courses from time to time, our own courses that we run. We have this scheme called Beyond Brontes that we run, which is funded by Tracy Brabin, the Mayor of West Yorkshire. We run a scheme called Flex, which was a bit higher end scheme for more established writers, directors and producers. And then we run this Connected Campus, which is the reason I'm here. Connected Campus is basically all of this stuff that we do. We've got quite a lot of knowledge, we've got quite a lot of contacts. So we decided a few years ago, hey, why can't we just see if we could share all of that knowledge and those contacts with you guys, basically. So the idea is it's knowledge share. It also gives you access to our resources for filmmakers. Student filmmakers can access our resources, our Film Office resources, in exactly the same way that Marvel or Netflix or Disney do. You can also access our location library and all sorts. So yesterday at one of our universities, we've got final year filmmakers, they've got to make their films. We did a session where I sat online with the location database open and took kind of real-time access in the library to help them. They told me what they were looking for, and we were like doing real-time scouting, which worked quite nicely. So yeah, supporting work, exactly as I just described. So we'll support whatever students are doing. Could be anything really, could be documentary, could be scripted stuff, anything that you want to do. If you want to get out and about around the county and you need help, then we're here to help. We like getting students working together. Really good stuff if we can get students on one course working with students on another course. Sometimes that's as simple as filmmakers with performing arts, but sometimes it's filmmakers with fashion and design, and they're doing maybe some costumes for somebody's film, or makeup, or graphics. We're doing next week, I've got some university students who are doing a 48-hour filmmaking challenge where some of their art and some graphic students are going to be making the poster for the film at the same time that they're shooting it. So we love doing that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's between institutions, so we've run various challenges and events where we've had students with expertise from one institution working with students with expertise from another one. So, for example, we had some filmmakers from a university filming some actors from a college in a beautiful period building. They were all dressed up in period costumes, and it was a great kind of collaborative thing. We do communal events and mini challenges, so run different things. Sometimes set up little mini challenges and just put those out to students just to give people something to have a go at. Do communal events sometimes where if I do get some kind of big name people, I might kind of get them online and make that available for all students across all of our institutions. Example of that was, I think last year, I kept getting asked about crowdfunding. People were asking me, how do we crowdfund our projects? So I got in touch with one of the founders of crowdfunder.co.uk and interviewed her, and that's available for you guys if you ever want to know about crowdfunding. It was quite a cool little half-hour interview. So that kind of stuff. When I feel like something could be beneficial for everyone, I kind of will make it available for everyone. We signpost any opportunities. If we see anything cool that looks like it might be interesting for you guys, we'll signpost it to you. And then I've already done some of this here, but I'd like to do some CV, cover emails, networking help, how to find work, all that kind of stuff. Cool. The idea is just to help you all get as industry savvy as possible. Right, so in the past few years, what's been happening out there? Since lockdown, it's been going pretty well. We've had stuff like this. If you live in Yorkshire, this is a kind of useful thing to know that nations and regions are now getting the majority of TV production spend. Sounds great. What that means is that London, that used to have 80% of all activity, used to be in the southeast, has now dipped below 50%. So it still has a lot of stuff down there in the southeast. But the nations and regions have now got a good chunk of it, which is good. We had this dramatic increase in film and TV productions from the Yorkshire Post. This is partly down to Screen Yorkshire's work. This was also the post-lockdown bounce, because in lockdown nothing happened. So straight after lockdown there was a massive rush for productions. Tom Cruise was here a few years ago doing Mission Impossible in North Yorkshire. Did quite a chunk of the latest Mission Impossible. They're out and about around the UK at the moment. I'm not sure if they're coming to Yorkshire, but they're doing whatever, the Dead Reckoning Part 2, is it now? Harrison Ford was here doing Indiana Jones. Again, this is a couple of years ago. We got some students working on both of these projects. Samuel L. Jackson was in Halifax, Secret Invasion, if anyone saw that. So at Screen Yorkshire, we knew about this months before it actually happened. They were sort of getting in touch with us, asking about could this Peace Hall in Halifax double for Moscow? Of course it could. Why didn't they go to Moscow in spring 2022? No idea. Bit dodgy, I guess. So that was, we do loads of support work. So we're there on the recce's, talking to the local council people, and just because they can be a little bit like rabbits in headlights when this kind of stuff arrives, and we're the ones that go, no, please, we want to smooth it over, make sure it all happens, because when that lands, they're hiring dozens and dozens of local people, and they're filling the hotels in kind of early spring, which is a good time. So we were like, please say yes to this, it's going to be big. The Rock was here. This is a few years ago, but I'll leave this in because I quite like it. The Rock was in Donny for Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw. Again, I got some students working on that. They were doing some filming at Eggborough Power Station, and he wanted to work out, so we helped at Screen Yorkshire. We got the call, helped find a gym where he landed outside with his helicopter and went and worked out. Bodies was here. Did anyone got Netflix? Did anyone know Bodies? You get that advertised, come up on your homepage, watch Bodies. Pretty much entirely filmed in Yorkshire, which was really amazing for us. That was a huge, worth millions of pounds to Yorkshire. Bodies. Whether it'll bring much screen tourism, I don't know, but probably not. It doesn't, not the one that kind of captures the imagination in the same way that others do. We also had unscripted was really big after lockdown. We had a huge boost in unscripted stuff as well, because lockdown, nothing happened, so they were playing repeats of stuff. So straight after lockdown, as soon as they could, all of the commissioners are going, we need new content. So it went massive in all those kind of light entertainment kind of shows. Loads of them go out on Channel 5, and loads of them have got are set in Yorkshire Auction House and Yorkshire Vet, all that kind of stuff. And they're all hiring local people. They get Leeds Trinity graduates work on those and other stuff all the time. So since lockdown, it's been an absolute boom. It has been amazing. Generally, we've been on a kind of upward trend. Main reason that we're getting so much stuff, tax break. There was a tax break for filming in the UK where it's quite a complicated formula, but basically productions can get up to 20% of their budget as a tax break from the UK government if they come here. So if you've got a $100 million Hollywood movie, if you want to film it in California, it will cost you $100 million. If you come to the UK, it costs you $80 million, because $20 million will be the incentive for you to come here, pretty much. The tax break has just gone up. And it's now up at around about 30%-ish. So it's quite a complicated formula. So that's huge. That's absolutely huge. The tax break going up like that is going to bring more production here. The streamers have been really, really pushing, so the likes of Netflix and Amazon, Apple TV, they're major players in the UK. And also the weak pound, if the pound is ever weak against the dollar, it fluctuates obviously, but occasionally it can get crashed by certain people, but I'm not going to get political. And that makes the UK even more attractive when the pound's weak against other currencies. Not great for exports. So the tax break brings loads of stuff here. That's why we get the Hollywood stuff here. So we had the Batman here. That wasn't in Yorkshire, but it was nearby. It's in Liverpool and Glasgow, Gotham City. The Barbie movie. Someone saw the Barbie movie. Wonderful California, sunshine there. All of that was in Leavesden Studios down North London near Watford. Almost exclusively filmed in the UK because of tax break. So we get loads of them come here. So we are like a vassal of Hollywood, basically. You don't have to be working on those jobs of that scale. I've never really worked on any of them because where we are as in the freelance world, if you've got competitors who are all working on these big shows, anything else that comes in, that's a load fewer people that you're competing with to get work. So it causes a ripple effect all the way through the industry when the big stuff is here. So it's created demand. So what that demand did after lockdown was push prices up, because it's basic economics, supply and demand. If there's a shortage of crew, then crew were holding out for more money. If you then also add to that the idea that the streamers like the Netflixes of the world and the big Hollywood stuff, they've got loads of money. So Beck to the union were able to negotiate some huge pay increases. The biggest leap in pay I've seen in my lifetime of working in the industry happened around about 2021, 2022. It's amazing. What also happened at this time was we had skills shortages. Because there weren't enough people for the projects, basically. And this caused difficulties in numerous ways. First of all, it was regional, so productions would go where they thought they could hire local crew and would avoid places where they didn't think they could get people. We were suffering. We had one project that was due to come to Yorkshire that went elsewhere because they were worried that all of our crew were engaged on other productions. The skill shortages weren't around like camera stuff. We get loads of people who want to be around camera. There were more in some of the more niche roles like production management, assistant directors, unit managers, short of unit managers. We were short of production accountants, but we've been historically short of production accountants for years, but that's slowly being plugged now, that gap. So yeah, there was a major factor. So right now, sorry for people who've seen this before, as of 2024, this is the assessment right now. It's quite a detailed assessment. This is what I feel is happening literally today in the industry. It's that, basically. It's like... when I delivered this session last year, the GIF was tumbleweed blown through the desert because there was nothing happening. This now, it's all right. What happened is we had the massive boom, and then last year we had the writers' strikes happened, and this put everything right down. Production lots and lots of bigger productions stopped because of the writers' strike. It was weird how it affected our industry, because a few months after the writers went on strike, the actors went on strike as well. So it was a weird implication. The Hollywood stuff stopped because of this, but then also some of our other homegrown stuff stopped. You might notice now a lot, you get like BBC dramas like Mother, Father, Son with Richard Gere in. So you're getting like American quite a big name actors will star in even TV series, but when they're on strike, even they stopped as well. So it went right down. Get articles like this from last year. UK film and TV workers feeling the pinch from US strike. After strike, thwarts production. Is the UK industry really our own? Answer no, because we have so much Hollywood stuff because of the tax break. So one of the pitfalls of being a kind of extension of Hollywood is if they stop, we stop. And unscripted also went down as well for various reasons, which I'll talk about in a minute. Then about a year ago, about this time last year, there was a deal to end the strike. This happened conveniently just before awards season. Yeah, thank you. It's okay.
We've still got a few minutes
I'm all right. I'm on time. I'm all right. Thank you. So it was a slow start to the year. We didn't have much stuff happening in Yorkshire at the time. It was caused by how content is being made and changed. A lot of it was down to them changing how it's all being made. We had AI is a big thing as well. So writers are worried that AI is going to write scripts for them. Actors are worried that AI is going to be, instead of an actor, you can just put an avatar into a film instead. So this is what they were pushing against. And it hurt the UK because we're a vassal of Hollywood, as I've said. But it's been picking up, yeah. So we've had The Choral. This was a really nice film that Screen Yorkshire invested in, was here in the summer. We had a new drama called Reunion in Sheffield. We've had loads of other different bits. Sally Wainwright's doing a new one. We've had Peaky Blinders movie. They've been around Yorkshire. We've had another big American one. I can't remember the name of it now. It's got a really weird name. It's about vampires. They've been filming around Yorkshire a bit as well. So we've had quite a bit more stuff happening. Scripted production's been ticking over. The tax break, we're hoping everyone's on that kind of survive to 25 thing at the moment, because the tax break's going to increase stuff, so everyone is kind of starting to feel that now. Unscripted is still down. Partly it was the BBC license fee was frozen. We've had fewer new streamer subscribers, so the Netflixes of the world have kind of now looking for quality over quantity. And there's still a load of COVID commissions. Post-COVID, there was a lot of commissions happened, and a lot of stuff got made, and some of that still hasn't even made it out onto TV yet. And ad revenues are down for television, because ad revenues, advertisers now are moving everything online. So online is going absolutely massive. It's all down to this, basically. You've got the kind of traditional end of creative on the left, and we're moving through to more of this stuff on the right. So this is where the action is now. Dopamine culture, short reels, TikToks, all this kind of stuff. So a lot of the money and activity is going this way. So a bit on AI. Is anyone worried at AI? AI is in journalism, isn't it, now already? Think AI is going to take your job? I'm more optimistic. I think it's going to might change our jobs. I've tried using AI for some writing stuff. It was absolutely useless. It got better when I kind of improved my prompts, which suggested to me it still needed some human input. There's a worry now with AI that there's a lot of AI-generated content which is being used to train the next gen of AI. So it's kind of eating itself like that and getting worse and worse because of it. So it still needs human input. So I see it as a tool rather than a threat personally at the moment, but a year's a long time in AI, so ask me again next year and I might have a different answer. Also with AI, I've seen it all before. We've had numerous technological developments for years and years, hundreds of years in humanity, new technology. This is the end of work, but it never has been the end of work. So I feel it's the same. I think it's going to change radically our world, especially in creative, but I still think there's opportunity for human creativity. But I would say try to keep up with it, because it's changing fast. So try to keep in touch with it. Don't bury your head in the sand. And hopefully I'll do some kind of session for AI with Connected Campus. I'm trying to find some real AI experts that I can get and interview and ask them loads of questions, because I don't know enough about it to be able to give definitive answers. So I'm trying to find someone who does. Cool. So Yorkshire and Humber. So we've had, as I've said, it's grown rapidly in the past 10 years with a few waves, big boom, small boom, big boom, empty, back up to some level now. We're one of the UK's key production areas, so we have absolutely loads of activity happens around here. London still has a lot, as I say. Bristol, Cardiff, they have quite a lot. Manchester has a lot. North East is getting better. They've just got hold of some money, so they've got funds, so there's a bit more focus on the North East. They're trying to do what we do with training and education now. Scotland, they're really fast growing now because they've had a sudden boom where big decision makers have gone, we need to get on board with this screen industry growth. So this is the sort of stuff that happens. Birmingham has been historically quite quiet, but even that's picking up now. We've had new infrastructure, so we've had big new Versa studios. We're constantly getting new stuff coming up. We've got Hull's getting quite ambitious, trying to get a studio built as well. So we've got loads of that kind of stuff going on, which is really good. We've had big, massive, previously built warehouses, aircraft hangars being repurposed as film studios, just to cope with the demand, which has been quite good. Channel 4 came here. We helped write the bid to get Channel 4 here. We've got True North here. If anyone's in telly stuff here, True North are here. They do loads of stuff. Say Yes to the Dress and Help We Bought a Village. So they're quite big and a big employer. And we also get loads of outside of the region companies operating here. So a lot of the stuff we support with Screen Yorkshire is productions being made for a commissioner by an independent production company. They're often based in London, and then they come up out of London and they shoot here. And then as soon as they've shot, they disappear back to London and do their post. Well, we do try to get them to do their post-production here, but they will resist that sometimes and go back to Soho, sadly. So I'm going to play a quick game and spot the location. I'm sorry if you've seen this before, but it's very versatile, County Yorkshire. A lot of the stuff that comes up, we have productions that come out of London, say, to come to Yorkshire to take advantage of our funding, or they come out of London because London's really expensive and they want to film somewhere that's a bit more cost effective, so they come out. But their scripts are set in other parts of the world or other parts of the country. So we have to, quite a lot of the time, Yorkshire is doubling for other places. So 2 weeks ago, that big American thing, it's called Talamasca, the vampire thing, they had a building at the University of Leeds, interior building, really new modern building there, and it was doubling as a New York boardroom for a big massive business meeting, New York. It's pretty amazing, really, that they're doing it at Leeds University. Why are they there? Because of the tax break. That's why they're here. They're mainly based out of Manchester, but they came to Yorkshire. Pretty amazing. So you're going to see on that show, they're going to get a few establishers of New York. Then the next shot after the wides of New York will be a closer up shot of the outside of the Nexus building, and then they cut inside. Amazing. So that's the versatility of Yorkshire. So I'll just show you. This is a classic thing we get asked for. This is Whitehall. This is the real Whitehall Place. It's Portland stone, and it gets used for filming quite a lot, but it's incredibly expensive to film down there. It's about 5 times more expensive to film down in London than it is around Yorkshire. So this is the best we've got to match that. This is in Yorkshire, similar kind of stone, decent-sized institutional-looking buildings. This is in Hull, Alfred Gelder Street in Hull, Whitehall I call it. So this gets used. This gets sent to productions loads. The images that we have of this street get sent a lot because we're often asked if we can double for central London. This is that street. That's a behind the scenes from a Royal Night Out, a film we invested in. This is supposedly Westminster in 1945, and so they've put a London bus in to make it look more London, and they've hired a lot of local people. So this is all money that's going locally. All these people are Hull people starring in it. So the Hull authorities, local highways and stuff, they're well up for this kind of stuff. Because again, they fill the hotels, so it's amazing. Such is the draw and such is the cost difference between there and the real central London. You even get things like this, like The Crown, which is massive. They have budgets of 10 million plus per episode, which is absolutely gigantic. They could afford to go to central London, but they don't, because even they want to save some money. So this is the same street doubling as Westminster for a royal wedding in The Crown, and they've brought a London bus in to make it look like London. If you go back to that picture there, the bottom left corner there, that's Hull Wetherspoons, this building on the left. And so that's main entrance, fire exit there. So this is a shot of, this is a still from National Treasure, which was a Channel 4 drama that we invested in. It was about a few years ago. And the story basically is it's kind of Operation U-Tree, basically. Robbie Coltrane there in the middle. He's the main character, and he has to defend himself against some allegations. He's an entertainer from the sort of 70s and 80s. And the case ends up going to the Old Bailey, which is a very famous court in London. And it's kind of post-trial. He's been defending himself in court. He comes out of the Old Bailey, and there's a kind of media scrum because everyone wants to interview him. So this is all the media around. He got off. Oh, spoiler alert. But he still loses though. Subtlety. But that is is supposedly the outside of the Old Bailey in London, but it's not. It's the fire escape of Hull Wetherspoons. Just round the corner, this is Hull Old Town. This is amazing for Dickensian London, Victorian London. It's incredible. It's got cobbled streets, beautiful old buildings. I initially thought Hull had been bombed to pieces. When I first went there and walked around here, I was astonished at how incredible it is. This is better for Victorian London than any of London, which has all been modernised. So this gets used absolutely loads for film. So this is those steps there. This is from the personal history of David Copperfield, which was a few years ago. We then had Enola Holmes was here, Enola Holmes 2. The opening sequence of Enola Holmes is a big chase through the streets of London, except it's not. It's the streets of Hull with some added CGI. In Netflix, they show bodies. The actual body that's found over 4 different time zones, sort of different eras, is found in a side alley just down there. And also there's a new film that's just premiered at London Film Festival, Blitz, by Steve McQueen, who's an amazing Oscar-winning guy, did 12 Years a Slave. And that filmed quite a lot in Hull as well, doubling for wartime London. So gets used absolutely loads, Hull. We get asked for this quite a bit. London Red Brick Terrace, this is Islington. This gets asked for quite a bit. So this is Wakefield. We've got some of that in Wakefield. This is that street doubling for Hanover Square, London, in the early 19th century for a BBC One drama called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Notting Hill, this comes up sometimes. Can we do West London? Again, you can go down there, but it's really expensive. And if we're investing in it at Screen Yorkshire, we want you to come up to Yorkshire. So we've got this as a kind of double. This is on the coast. This is Scarborough. So we've got chunks of it around this Albion Square in Scarborough. It's quite good. So I've used this a few times. This outside of this building, we used that on Utopia as a Notting Hill flat from the 1970s, and then it was also in National Treasure as a Notting Hill flat exterior. All the interiors get done closer to here around Leeds inland, because every time we go to the coast we do still have to put crew up, so we try to keep it minimal, but it can work. We've got this was one I got asked for last year. This is Lincoln's Inn Fields in London. Could we find something to match that? That was the best I could do. Park Square in Leeds. It's kind of got the same kind of nice smart buildings on the left, park on the right, smart buildings on the left, park on the right. I've not heard back from that one. Possibly because of the actors' strike. I think that potentially that had an impact. It also could be that if they've got some decent funding, they might actually go, well, it's set in Lincoln's Inn, we will just find the money and we'll just do it down there. So that's kind of, you don't win them all, basically. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I know time is ticking. So yeah, it's pretty good out there at the moment. It's kind of mixed. The problem with the industry at the moment is anyone who's not in work will say, oh my goodness, it's absolutely terrible. We're completely missing the fact that 8 out of the 10 people doing that job are all in work. So it depends on who you're talking to on how busy or not it is. Great. So does anyone have any questions on that? Yes.
So we'll take a question, and then Richard's going to be around all day
so
as well.
Conscious that I've done this
so we'll have a question, and then we'll have a little break.
Hello, thank you for that. Really interesting. It's a personal question in terms of your premiere on Monday. What's the film?
Oh right, yeah, okay. So yeah, it's going to be playing actually at Leeds. I must share that with you so you can all come. It was a script I've been writing for ages, just for fun really and escapism. But after winning the competition a few years ago, I've now taken myself more seriously as a writer, and it's called Our Neighbour's Ass, and basically it's about a woman who she's in her late 70s, and she lives on a cul-de-sac in Leeds, but randomly she's got a pet donkey that she keeps in her back garden, and the donkey's a nuisance. It kind of wanders all over the front gardens everywhere and eats people's plants and everything. But worse still, she's recently lost her husband, and the husband and the donkey were best mates. So since she's lost her husband, the donkey is now braying at all hours of day and night. So it's driving the neighbours mad. Because if you ever hear a donkey bray, they don't go Eeyore, they go ah. But because she's recently bereaved, none of the neighbours wants to be the one that sort of puts the foot down and says, "Oh, you sort it out," you know. So eventually things come to a head and a kind of solution is reached. It's 15 minutes short. So when I wrote it for the main character, I had, do you know Maureen Lipman? So I had her in mind to be the main character. And so we sent it to her agent and got her. So it's got Maureen in it, yeah. So yeah. It's at Hyde Park Picture House on the 3rd of December, Tuesday the 3rd, with a Q&A after with the writer and the director, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get to a short break. Before we do, some housekeeping about what we're going to see at 11.
I'll give you the housekeeping, but I just wanted to let you know. So we're going outside to watch this special effects demo where we are going to see some stuff get blown up, which is quite